Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Tony's Game Lounge. If you're listening to this on the Monday, Tuesday, or whenever you're listening to this, that means you were here for the live show or you missed the live show, as we are now able to do Tony's Game Lounge live, and we are right now live recording this with our very special guest, a season regular, the meathead of video games, as he has previously stated, Nick Ruhle.
Oh, dude, I remember saying that, and I listened back on it, and I thought I have a better name, and I completely forgot it. So we'll stick with that until we come up with something. Cause like meathead would like would almost be saying like, oh, I have some meat on my bones, like I work out, but like I'm a $170 soaking wet, so I can't really be a meathead. However, happy to be here, Dad.
I'm glad you're here. It only makes sense. I don't know. To me, it makes sense that you are the first guest we have on live for this. I don't know why, but it just does.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll accept it. It's funny because you're season 5, episode 11, right?
Yeah.
When I was doing the podcast with an old buddy of mine, I think we kicked up video on episode 50, which was like a year in or so. So it's just one of those things that like it just comes with time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you don't like hiccup on it at all. You just kind of like kicked off. You're like, we're doing it. Okay, cool. All right, we're live.
To think that this podcast had a very humble beginning of me sitting in my closet.
Oh, dude, I just realized like you're
I'm
not
out of the
sitting in your
closet.
closet
I'm out of my closet. I have a room. I have
Wow.
a stream room. It's super
Oh wait, this is a
nice.
specific.
I mean,
stream
it's
room now?
my brother's old bedroom.
No, that's sick. Regardless, it's an actual like I don't even have a stream room. I have a desk in my bedroom. I just made it look nice for the stream. But if you guys don't know, Tony at the end of the past 2 episodes would get done. He would sigh and be like, "Damn, I can't believe." No, I'm kidding. But he would get done and he'd be like, holy shit, it's so hot. And I'm like, what? And you would hear a door open. He's like, because in his closet, it's, the soundproofing closet door, all that. You want to make sure no sound leaks in.
I would surround myself with my pillows from my bed, the clothes hung up on the closet rack, and I would be sitting crisscross applesauce on a pillow, so that way for like an hour it would be between like an hour. With you, it's always 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not only just the episode, it's the before and after. I mean, we hopped on this call at like 1:03 p.m. my time, and it's 1:27. We're just now starting, so it's like, dude, he's determined about this. I'm not just blowing smoke up his ass. Like he's doing the damn thing. So good for you on the bedroom.
Thank you. Well, I think we'll kick things off with our headline of the week. And we got a good one. It's a good one if you're a fan of RPGs, if you're a fan of Square, especially if you're a fan of Disney. Kingdom Hearts had their 20th anniversary showcase event. They showed off 3 games with the video presentation that they gave. The first was a game that we knew was happening. It kind of just got delayed, I believe, if my memory serves me right, and that is Union Cross Dark Road, which is the mobile game Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, which had a bunch of other names before it got to Union Cross. It's essentially the lore piece of Kingdom Hearts, of kind of how Keyblades and all that came to be. Dark Road specifically tells the story of Xehanort and how he became how he is. So that looks good. We've known about it for a while. It's coming out in fall this year. That's nice.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How often are we like just not completely going off topic or steering to chat, but like how often are we looking at chat versus how doing the certain part of the podcast where we're talking to chat, just because off of like the Kingdom Hearts thing, right? Seeing that the game looks amazing but story makes no sense.
Oh yeah, story makes absolutely no sense. I mean,
so
here to
like
the outsider,
to
the outsider, it makes no sense.
Yeah, but if something like fits perfectly into the structure of the podcast,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you want
absolutely?
Okay, cool. I just want to be sure. I know that kind of like goes off topic, but okay. As far as Kingdom Hearts, never played them, but my roommate is like fucking stoked, dude. He's so excited for this. The trailer for it looks really good. Like the gameplay looks insane.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So we also got two other games, two brand new ones that were announced. The second one was another mobile game. Oddly enough, it doesn't look like it should be a mobile game because it looks pretty decent, and that's Missing Link, which is, we don't know much about it other than I think it's kind of like a sequel-ish to Union Cross, possibly. We don't know much about that other than it's going into a closed beta sometime this year. And lastly, the big one, we finally now know that Kingdom Hearts 4 is in development. It is being done in Unreal Engine 5.
That's crazy, dude.
It looks insane. It looks
like
so
I said,
nutty.
You can see how much I don't know, because like I saw the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. I knew about Missing Link. I didn't even know Union Cross Dark Roads was a thing until you said the word. So no, I think Kingdom Hearts 4, with how the gameplay looks, if it comes out exactly like that, it's gonna do really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna do well, period. But I mean, just catching the attention of even like newcomers too.
I think the big question is, for a lot of people, how long are we waiting for Kingdom Hearts 4? It was it was like a 6-year gap between when they announced Kingdom Hearts 3 to when it came out.
Jeez,
but here's the thing:
like,
during that development process as well, they switched to the Unreal Engine for that, which was a big issue of why it took so long. They had to learn an entirely new engine for the game.
The integration of it's probably taxing as hell.
With this, the jump from Unreal 4, which is what they were on, I think, to Unreal 5 probably isn't going to be as bad. But I'm still thinking we're not going to see this game until 2024, 2025, if that.
Jesus, that's such a long time away, especially like for people that are excited about these games, any game, to be told like, hey, here's a teaser, okay, buckle in, it's gonna be like a 2 to 6 year ride. Like, it's nuts, dude.
It's crazy. But we have a lot of people happy for it, a lot of people posting their reactions on YouTube, especially one of the biggest Kingdom Hearts YouTubers out there, Sarah Key, literally in tears as the trailer came out. They even put out a nice little artwork for the 20th as well that I actually just noticed. It's got all your Kingdom Hearts characters, but it's got 4 unique little rectangles. It has Kingdom Hearts of Sora in his different forms, holding up one finger for what version it is, up to Kingdom Hearts 4. But I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I missed that detail originally.
I love that, like, you do a 1, 2, and then you go
this
for 3.
3!
Yeah, that's not terrible.
That you see, that translates great to the audio only version of this.
Oh, right. For those of you that don't know, go ahead and put your, if you're just listening, your index, your middle, and then skip your ring finger and just put your pinky up. And you can go ahead and find out on your own what that means.
It's funny. It's that's how I can't, because I can't do this like easily. I always either go like this or I just go this.
When you hold the pinky, if you just let go of the pinky and let the pinky kind of dangle and be broken down here. Yeah, it looks gross. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. That was our headline of the week. Hopefully we'll see things sometime. I'm expecting we're not going to see anything new until maybe next year for that. But I am fine with that. We know that it's happening. Hopefully Tetsuya Nomura will be like, hey, this is the last one, and they just put everything in it, and then they just call it there, because it's getting crazy, Nomura. It's getting a bit nutty. But let's talk about some other things that happened this past week in gaming. This is, of course, the week in review. And to kick things off, some of the games that came out last week. The popular one from our last week's guest, Glubbers, Cat Cafe Manager. Can't stop talking about it. It looks cute. It's pretty wholesome from what I've gathered. And it's a lot better than its sister game, Cat Girl Cafe Manager.
Okay. Dude, I swear, every time I come on this podcast, I'm like, what are these games? Like, I obviously your podcast is about
everything.
Gaming. It's everything. So, like, I learn so much when I come on here. I didn't even know it's a thing. That's fantastic.
We also had Nobody Saves the World, which is a PlayStation 4 and 5 game. And what I think is the most Canadian game ever, Bush Hockey League, came out for the Switch. And Canada and hockey, I mean, it just sounds like the most Canadian game.
It's like maple syrup and poutine.
Delicious. It is the best thing ever. I mean, I haven't had poutine in so long. Now that you bring that up,
I went to Canada once and had poutine at a Denny's, which was the worst idea to have my first poutine experience.
Why would you do that? What part of where in Canada? Toronto? Vancouver?
Wherever you enter, is it Detroit that connects to Canada that you can drive through?
Yeah, that sounds. Is
that it? I
Yes.
know it was definitely
that would be
the east side.
That's Montreal. Or not Montreal. That's Quebec, I believe, that you're entering.
Yeah,
into.
somewhere. I went to. We were like an hour. No, we went. Lake Erie was where I was staying. It was some lake house over there, and it's like extended family of mine, and actually got to see Niagara Falls from that side of the country. And dude, holy shit, Canada has such a better Niagara Falls experience than the United States.
That's one thing I have yet to do as a kid. I have yet to see the Niagara Falls, and I've grown up in Canada my whole life, but I'm on the western half of Canada, so. No,
I absolutely understand. That's like a trek for you, because like I'm on the western. I'm in California, so like, that trip is just as far. If you get a chance, go. It's like you're not supposed to. Not that I did, because legality reasons I definitely didn't. But you can actually touch the falls. Like you can. Like reach over and touch the waterfall itself. That's how close you are.
Dang.
I was like, dude, Canada's so sick. This is cool. But yeah. Anyway, poutine from Denny's. Not great.
That's
not great.
Looking at the chat real quick. My Sir Wiggles, why did you punish yourself, Nick?
Dude, you go through all like the customs, and they're just checking your car, and then you're hungry, and the first place you see is a Denny's, and you're like, sure, that's fine. You go and you're like, yeah, whatever, we'll eat Denny's, and then your Canadian step aunt will be like, hey, you should try poutine, and I'm like, what could go wrong at a Denny's? Everything.
Yeah,
everything could go wrong.
Everything could go wrong.
It literally tasted like shit. Like it was not good. It was like soggy potatoes with like gravy. It was not.
I mean, I think like the best version of like fast food or like just like diner poutine would be like New York fries, which not in New York at all. It's a Canadian thing, which is weird.
Oh,
I think they're in a couple other countries, like all but America, essentially.
That's like white people cooking anything that has any ethnic background at all. Like you have me cook Mexican food, it's not going to come out as Mexican food. It's just not. It's going to be like, the watered down Taco Bell Del Taco version.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But moving on to some of our news headlines that we had, starting off with the first one, Witcher 3. They have a their next gen update for the PS5 and Series X that's been postponed indefinitely, as CD Projekt Red have now decided to make that update in-house. Originally, Saber Interactive, who were responsible for the Switch port of the game, were the ones doing it beforehand, but now CD Projekt Red is just going to take it into their own hands to put it out whenever we see it.
I mean, didn't they announce a new game coming out?
Yeah, they're working on a new game. They're working on I believe it's Witcher 4 that they're working on.
Yeah, I think so. So, like, what's the point? I don't know. That's just my opinion.
It's because Skyrim's on next gen and Witcher isn't. They need to get it on everything.
Is that really the reason?
Probably.
They just gotta, like, keep... I guess. I guess. I mean, I can see... I have a whole spiel on that, but it would take too long. But this whole, like, next gen versus... And bringing old games back and trying to push it again, it's like... Stop it. Just stop it. Like, they let them be where they are. You're trying to make sales on something. Like, how many times has Skyrim it been re-released? Is it like 4?
360, PS3, The one in the PS4, the Switch, the PS5 and Series X, the PC, the special editions, the smart fridge, obviously. I think it's
The smart
around.
fridge, yes.
I think it's around like 8 times. The one for the Alexa. Oh yeah, it's on Alexa too. Thank you
Is
for
it
that in the chat,
actually?
Scott. Yeah, I think so. I believe so.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Like, take your L. Just make a new game.
I mean, Bethesda is also making a new game. We're getting Starfield this year, I believe, or next year. We're getting Starfield pretty soon.
No, right. Focus on that. Stop re-releasing your games.
I mean, for Bethesda though, it's like easier for them to just re-release them because it's just like, oh yeah, we don't need to do anything. Port. That's it.
I guess it works, but I don't know. That's just kind of like lazy work to me.
Our second piece, Niantic, the very popular developers of Pokemon Go, they're working on an original game of their own, not using any properties from Nintendo or anything else. It's a digital pet game called Peridot. You can pre-register for it right now. But I think it's essentially Niantic's original version of possibly Pokemon Go, where instead of Pokemon, it's just virtual pets, virtual VTuber pets, or whatever it is.
That's kind of cool. The internet's ruined my brain, though, because you said Peridot, which is spelled Peridot.
Yeah.
And because the internet goes period and for some reason added a T to the end, that's how I read that. And I was like, why would they name their game period? That's dumb. That's dumb.
Sega of America and Roblox are teaming up to release a licensed Sonic game on Roblox.
That's actually kind of cool.
It's actually...
I didn't... Okay. I get, like, messages from people jokingly, and I actually think one of them might be in... I don't know. I forget if Jake says it or not, but they're just like, when's the Roblox stream? Roblox has so much to offer.
It honestly does. It has, like, a lot to offer. It's crazy how much it is. I'm just scared to dive into it because Roblox children.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Roblox people, just people in general.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But this isn't the first time Sonic and Sega have done this, as we did see the official Minecraft Sonic collab for Bedrock Edition, where they essentially made Sonic in Minecraft.
Interesting.
It was crazy. It wasn't great, but it was something.
Do you remember when they were doing like all the Sonic and Mario sports games?
Oh yeah, the
and
Olympic
everyone's
Games.
like,
Yeah.
are you gonna let this die anytime soon? Like,
They kind of did, and then they're like, "Hey, we're back," and people were excited when they brought it back even more. So,
I guess you can sell nostalgia. That works.
yeah.
But it was just like they were really running it into the ground. They should.
Yeah, the
second.
third one, the London. It was when the London games came out that I feel like it was just meh. The first two were good. Like the first one's great, and the Vancouver Winter one was good. But then the next Olympic Games and the next Winter Games that they put out were not that great. And then they put out the most recent two, I believe, or just the most recent one was like a solid job.
Like I said, Tony knows all. Tony fills you in on all the stuff you had no idea even existed.
Speaking of, I didn't know it existed. Oh, I vaguely knew it existed. QuakeCon, that's returning this year. A digital event again, digital only. It's going to happen August 18th, between the 18th and 20th, for another QuakeCon, which I believe was infamous as Twitch took down their live stream or anybody co-streaming it. No, they took down because they played AC/DC during the event, and it got DMCA striked.
That sucks.
If I'm remembering the event correctly, it was a previous QuakeCon that did that, and it was funny.
That's funny.
But hopefully that won't happen again, and it can go on in peace. August 18th to 20th. No Man's Sky has a new update called the Outlaws update, where basically you can now become a space pirate.
That's tight.
It's pretty dope.
Plain and simple, that's tight.
Plain and simple, exactly. Vicarious Visions, the developers of Tony Hawk's 1-2 remake, they have dropped their name entirely as they have now fully merged with Blizzard.
Wow.
Yeah. This was currently happening. It's like been in the process for about a year or so, and now it's officially Vicarious Visions is just part of Blizzard now.
I know you absolutely talked about this probably for multiple weeks, so we don't have to deep dive onto it.
Is it
It's
about
Microsoft
Blizzard?
bought, yes.
Yeah.
Who bought Blizzard again?
Microsoft. Microsoft bought
Okay, so
Activision Blizzard.
So now they also own the Tony Hawk remakes.
Yeah, they
Sick.
do. Yeah.
That's insane, dude. That Microsoft is doing the monopoly of moves.
They are. That whole purchase though is being looked at by like a couple of U.S. senators though. It's
Yeah, because it's a huge purchase.
yeah. So things are happening in that end. So
which actually bleeds perfectly into your next point.
yes, and it does. It's on Microsoft. They've recruited certain affinity to help 343 industry with Halo Infinite. Because if you haven't heard, Halo Infinite is not doing great.
I have so many qualms. I'm so mad. Dude, I don't know. We can come back to that because I just.
Oh, yeah, I feel like we will be talking a bit more about that with one of the topics we have today.
Yeah.
But speaking of Halo, Master Chief Collection added a new mode to ODST called Flood Fight. It's a new firefight mode that specifically you fight the flood. Which is actually very cool.
That is actually kind of cool. Like wave games like that, like Gears of War had one fighting the Horde. You just had to fight off, X amount of waves until you died. That kind of stuff is it's fun for a little bit.
Yes.
Not for a long time, but for a little bit. So good for them.
Looking at the chat, Mist mentioning that the update was for ODST and for Halo 3 as well. So very excited. Very exciting. I should definitely check that out.
Did you talk about their cookbook?
Oh, yes, I did last week. Yes.
Okay.
We did bring up their cookbook last week. That is pre-orders now.
So mad. I'm so mad.
Why are you mad? What's
because they dropped the oh my god, they dropped the ball so hard, dude. Dude. For those of you that can't see it, if you're just listening, I am a huge Halo fan. I've been a huge Halo fan. I love Halo so much. It's a controller holder, by the way, for those of you
nice.
only listening. Sorry. There, he just puts it in his hand.
It's a Master Chief controller holder.
Thank you, because I'm already all over the place. I'm just mad, man. Like, it was such a good campaign. I almost did like the president thing with the hand. It was such a good campaign. The game was beautifully structured. They kicked the door wide open with the release and all the tournaments and all the different pro teams that they were putting together and the skins. And dude, game came out on fire. And then just 6 months of just sizzling down, letting the hacks happen. No updates, no promises of anything, nothing. You just let your game continue to be what it is. Now, it's Halo. It will live for a very long time. But we live in like a time where if you want your game to do well, you have to kind of go with the meta. And the meta right now for popular shooters is a BR, and Halo is structured perfectly. Now, I'm not saying, and everybody has this argument, and we can come back to this later, so we can go on with the rest of the podcast. But like, not every game needs a BR, but if you want it to have the longevity that these other games do have, most of them have BRs. That's the meta. Your game's structured for it. Everybody wants it. Like, those that don't want it are just gatekeeping. There's no other reason for, like, why would you not want your game to expand and grow and have, a wider audience? But I don't know, man. It's sad to see. That's all it is. That's my biggest gripe. It's like one of my favorite, if not my favorite series of games, and it's fizzled out within 6 months. Not even that. Probably like 3. But anyway.
So looking at chat real quick, and I'm going to say the same thing. So Scott in the chat, Said Halo's had BR since Halo 2. When you said BR, I thought you were referring to Battle Rifle as well.
I mean Battle
Royale.
Royale, not the gun. I mean the
It didn't
game
click.
mode.
It didn't click for a little while. I'm like BRs are the meta. Interesting. I didn't know that there could be like a gun meta for Halo.
Like Apex,
Yeah,
Warzone,
no, like, yeah.
PUBG, Fortnite, like games like that. Chat, relax.
Oh, it's great.
I'm sad. Anyway, we can move on. Just leave my depression in the back.
Here's a big one about a company that develops a battle royale. Sony and Kirkby, who are the parent company of Lego, they have both invested $1 billion into Epic Games.
Sony and the company that owns Lego, Kirkby, which looks like Kirby.
It does.
$2 billion total into Epic Games.
Yep.
Side note, did you know how much Fortnite was making on their skins when Fortnite was in like its peak of its peak?
I would assume hundreds of millions.
Yeah. I think, don't quote me on this completely, but I believe in 1 month they had made like it was either 20 or 200 million somewhere. I know those are vastly different. Dude, it was like, I remember reading the headline. If I look it up, $200 million in sales on Fortnite. I think it was like the month of March in their peak year. They had made like $200 million off of like sales on skins, but could be wrong. Like I said, don't quote me. I forget exactly what the number was.
Wow.
Fortnite hits 200 million registered users. Fortnite has raised $36 million. Okay, no, that's not. I'd have to look for it, but we can move on.
Yes.
I'll see if I can find it.
Speaking of Fortnite, we got their latest collaboration for some new skins and items. They're collabing with Coachella.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're collabing with Coachella to bring out some Coachella-based skins, accessories, possibly some music stuff.
You know what? Why am I even surprised?
That one, you see, this one
literally
makes
skin
a bit more sense. Like this one, I'm like, you know what? This is on the tame side for Fortnite, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they've done wackier shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a new free-to-play game news, Scrabble. You can now play it for free at Scrabble.com against anyone in the world or just some bots. Just adding on to the word puzzle trend.
Yep.
When's the last time you played Scrabble, Nick?
Does words with friends count?
Sure, I'll count that.
Probably like 2020 because my sister wanted to. Like, my sister still plays for some reason, and so I downloaded it and maybe played like a day and then gave up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean Scrabble
I think
itself,
I'm the same,
like,
so.
it's definitely... Oh, you know what? I take that back. In person, I think I played in like 2020 as well with a friend. So, I mean, it's still like, it's one of those... I think that the cutoff is like our age group.
Yeah.
Kids younger, like past, they don't give a damn, dude. They don't care. So I don't know.
They'd rather just stick to the Wordles.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Speaking of which, news for everybody. If you wanted to go play the old Wordles because there were archives that you could access, New York Times shut down all of them.
Yeah, they did.
So you can no longer go back to old ones, and I missed a full week of it. So that's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I'm sad.
Ooh, yeah.
I got today's though.
Let's go. How many attempts?
4.
Okay, yeah, that's what I tend to average too. So I'm not
too bad.
Not too bad.
No.
We got some Bungie news. Bungie, they're offering fully remote options for their employees with the process of getting everything back to the in-office setting. Currently, they have those options available for 7 states. Washington, Cali, Texas. Those are 3 of the 7 that I remember off the top of my head. So that's pretty cool. Good for them. Very good for them. Speaking of Wordle, actually, this ties back into that. At Xenos Enjoyer on Twitter has made a new Hurdle type game. If you know of Hurdle, where it plays you a second of a song at a time, up to 15 seconds. They made a specific Hurdle game that only uses Final Fantasy XIV music.
That's kind of cool. That's creative. I
Very
like that.
creative.
Good for them.
Only for the what's the can somebody post the Final Fantasy 14 what's the copy pasta of Final Fantasy 14 in chat, because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Oh no. Let's see if I can.
Anybody who plays the game knows what I'm talking about. I think I've brought it up on the podcast before, but I do not remember it at all. As that happens, I'll go into this next headline. On popular soft drink brand Coca-Cola, they're making a metaverse flavored Coke. It is called Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Bite, and it quotes, "brings pixels alive in a tasty experience."
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't-
Tony, I need answers. You can't just leave me with that.
I don't know. You see, I don't even know if they're like doing like it's like a physical soda either, or if it's just in the metaverse. Because it's a metaverse soda as well, the Coke Bite launch includes a Fortnight creative island, which features 4 mini games that can only be solved by working in tandem with fellow players, as well as a separate augmented reality game that tells the story of Bite, an 8-bit pixel left behind when Coca-Cola Bite entered the metaverse.
Like I don't know, man. Like
It's
I know
so-
you have to get with. I get it. Like you got to get with the times. You do. Like as the world evolves, like you can't be the old people that's like, I'm not gonna touch the internet. It'll eventually die. This isn't gonna die. But you can do better than that.
Looking at the chat again, there was another type of Coke that they released for the metaverse called Starlight Coke. Thank you for bringing that up, Miss. I knew there was another one. I couldn't remember what it was called. Starlight. So if he says that it was good, so that means that there probably is a physical thing of this, but it's also just in the metaverse. So now your digital avatar can drink Coke in the metaverse. Pepsi needs to get on their game.
Ooh.
Pepsi needs to start putting competition in the metaverse. Certain servers have Coke products. Certain servers have Pepsi.
The next Coca-Cola flavor is NFT. Absolutely.
Yes.
You got it.
The,
Insane. I don't know, man. The thing that I have the biggest gripe with these companies trying to do stuff like this is that there's not a lot of thought put into it. That just doesn't seem like there's a lot of thought put. Like our next flavor is called Zero Sugar Bite.
Yep.
Now it's
Coke Zero. Coke Zero, basically. It's just
sorry. Yes. Right. Like, but I can see there's some
yeah.
creativity there. Like, but then it's just like, oh, we're gonna get into the metaverse and we're gonna create this story that doesn't make any.
And we're gonna give you guys an exclusive Fortnite creative island with 4 mini games.
But I guess that is creativity. I don't know. Whatever. They have billions of dollars. I don't.
We got 2 more stories here. First, 3 people have been arrested in London over an unofficial clone of Club Penguin. It was Club Penguin rewritten.
Where is this?
So as per usual, I do grab a couple stories day of if anything does happen, and this came out today.
Okay, I was just like, hello.
This came out today. And I'm like, what? So yeah, Club Penguin. This is, of course, when Disney shut down Club Penguin. When they did, they also have been trying to take down as many clone sites of Club Penguin as possible, because just it's their property and whatnot. You shouldn't really do that. The website now has been taken over by London's police intellectual crime unit as part of the ongoing operative creative campaign, which kicked off in 2013. With the goal of combating alleged copyright infringement online. So basically, if you go to that site now, it's just a black screen with the text, "The London police own this. Leave." Not those exact words, but in gamer terms, that's what it's saying.
What's the super buff cat emote where it's like it's just standing?
And lastly, not really game related, but it is kind of big. So he doesn't just want to be on the board of directors anymore. Elon Musk has now offered to buy Twitter.
Interesting.
He's offered to buy essentially each share of the company for $54.20 US, which would equal a total of $43.4 billion to buy Twitter. And he has also said that if it doesn't go through, him being on the board of directors may not be a thing. He'll be relooking
What a power
into that.
move, dude.
Yeah.
What a power move. Like, give me it or I'm out completely. Like, that's nuts, dude. I'm a big fan of him, so, I mean, like, I think when you have an understanding of comedy and you have an understanding of not everything is serious, when you can kind of pick apart, like, what's serious and what's not.
Yeah.
Is a very smart individual, and he's very funny. I don't know necessarily if that's 100% true, if he's gonna like completely back out of the company.
He said that it would be like
an...
it would just be like it'll be like reviewed a set of like whether or not he'll be of him being on the board and all that stuff. That'll be looked over.
I mean, the day he what did he do? Didn't he buy like X amount of shares or something like that?
Yeah, that's how he got on the board, or it was offered the position on the board, was because of
and then that day tweeted, he just tweeted like, "Hi, LOL." And dude, it was millions of people like responding to it, not millions, like hundreds of thousands of people responding to it, like everybody just saying hi back, like it was getting retweeted, it was getting liked, it was just all over the place, dude. I was seeing it like a week later.
My
like
God.
he's an actual like internet genius. He's a genius, period, but he's also like an internet troll genius. It's incredible.
So that's it for the video game news. Moving on to the world of TCG. Starting with Pokemon, Astral Radiance, that is the next Pokemon mainline TCG set coming out May 27th. It's going to feature Hisuian forms from Legends Arceus, more V-Star cards, I believe, as that's the new like gimmick they introduced with the card game. So that's nice. And Pokemon Go, they'll have some TCG sets released in summer of this year. Starting July 1st, they'll be releasing a bunch of different Pokemon Go sets in waves. So we got those happening for the world of Pokemon. In the world of Yu-Gi-Oh!, starting with our weekly Master Duel news, the Synchro Festival event, that is currently ongoing. That will be going until the 21st of April. So get those free gems that they're offering you with those loaner decks, or just make your own. And hate everything when they summon, when they're not using Synchro cards, so they're using other gimmick decks and all that stuff. It's been a painful grind a bit. Not gonna lie, but it's better than ranked. Still better than ranked right now, because ranked Master Duel is cancer.
As all ranked is for any game.
I want to pull my hair out when I play ranked on Master Duel. It's getting bad. Like it's gotten so bad that I'm working on 2 anti-meta decks. The first one I've labeled Actual Cancer, and the second one is just a Blackwing deck that I'm working on.
Actual Cancer.
It's essentially uses a gimmick called World Lock, where you basically get out a big monster that can prevent your opponent from taking their turn entirely. It just skips over their turn and comes back to you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I summon a pot of gold, or whatever it was.
Pot of greed.
What is it? Pot of greed.
Pot of greed.
I summon a pot of greed.
And draw 2 cards.
You can't do that. Actually, I can. So I summon a pot of greed.
As for just other packs coming out, Albaz Strike comes out April 14th. Tactical Masters on June 10th. The Legendary Duelist Season 3 collectible dice on June 24th. And Power of the Elements on August 5th. And in Magic the Gathering news, Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, that arrives in June. That is the next D&D crossover with Magic the Gathering, which is super exciting. But also, we got an earlier release coming, Streets of Kapana, which comes later this month, which is inspired by Art Deco and America's Roaring Twenties. Basically, what if the demons were crime families?
Interesting.
The artwork looks very dope. I really enjoy the artwork that is put out. It's just like the American mob bosses, but demons. So they're wearing suits. They got the hats. They got the cigars. It's great. I
That's
love
cool.
it. And lastly, in some board game news, Blade Runner, the role-playing game, that will be released at retail this fall. The Kickstarter begins May 3rd for that. And what has the D&D community up in arms, worried, or possibly stuff? Hasbro, which is the parent company of Wizards of the Coast and all of that, they're buying D&D Beyond, which is the RPG's leading digital tool set. And people are nervous about what this means for D&D Beyond, and also possibly Roll20 down the line, or any of the online stuff that D&D has.
I always wonder, like, who's really up in arms about these things, because, like, I'm in a completely different realm of gaming and all sorts of different stuff, so, like, I see that, whereas, like, how big is the community for D&D and for specifically D&D Beyond? And, like, what does the uproar look like? I would guarantee it's the same, you know.
People are scared that with them buying it, they're going to put some microtransactions in there and put things behind paywalls.
They absolutely will,
Monopolize
because it's the easiest way to make their money.
Yeah.
I actually know somebody, speaking of microtransactions, that I met recently who has put $8,000 into Apex. They have 8 heirlooms, and they were like, you think Apex is bad? You should see my Destiny spendings and all the microtransactions I bought in there. And I was like, how much? And they're like, 17,000. Craziest part, they're 23 years old and they're super successful and own multiple businesses.
Okay. I'm like, please tell me that they're at least like,
oh no, they have the money.
Okay,
it's
cool.
not just degenerate spending.
Cool.
Yeah, no, they're good. But 17,000 period,
17.
like is.
I'll have to tell my Destiny insider Jackson about this.
Oh, I know exactly who it is. I just won't like completely air out their laundry.
Yeah, no,
like that.
I'll. Jesus Christ. Wow.
It's nuts, dude.
That's nutty.
Yeah.
Well, that's the news from this past week. It's time to taking a look ahead. Here's what should be on your radar for game releases from April 18th to 22nd. We don't have any releases on Monday or Tuesday. Nothing on the 18th or 19th. Well, the 18th makes sense because it is, depending on how your work week looks, Easter Monday, because it is a 4-day long weekend coming up for some places, or just a 3-day. But no releases on Tuesday either. On Wednesday, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, the Wii port, is getting ported over to the Switch, and Ember Knights is coming out on PC. On Thursday...
Wait.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, tight. Nice.
The Force Unleashed is actually... It's a good game.
It is a great game. It's the Wii version coming to the Switch, which means swing that Joy-Con like a lightsaber.
True.
Which is awesome. I'm excited for that. I might pick it up, because I haven't played Force Unleashed in forever.
They were really, really good games, and I was really sad that they didn't make the third installment?
Yeah. They should, especially with where they ended the second one.
It could have been so good.
It could have been really good. It could have been amazing. But no. On Thursday, Teardown, Godlike Burger, Trolley Problem Inc., and Valone all come out for the PC. Anucard comes to the PC, Series X, Xbox One, and Switch. And Lumote, the Master Mote Chronicles, comes to the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And lastly, on Friday, Metal Tales Overkill comes out on everything except the Xbox One. And Winkelt, the little shop.
Winkelty.
It's spelled Winkltje. That comes out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. And those are all the games, or some of the games, the big ones that, like, the websites are covering that are coming out next week.
Nice.
And with that, I think it's time to get into our main discussions now. It's time to figure out what we're talking about this week in the Game Lounge. And to kick it off, you've been... I remember, when I watched you a couple times, you've been talking about switching from controller to mouse and keys. And you finally, made the full jump, or, what's going on?
So, right now I'm on today. On today's stream will be day 9. Not to be completely misunderstood, I tried mouse and keys January 1st, 2021 until the end of March. So I gave it a full 3 months. But I was playing Warzone. That is a very like it's much easier on controller. Whereas like now playing Apex can kind of be a controller or mouse and keys type game. That's my personal opinion on Warzone. So I tried mouse and keys for 3 months a year ago. It was miserable. Had the worst time of my life. Picked up a controller, dropped like the biggest kill game that I had in 3 months. And I was like, okay, let's just try harder on controller. Let's try learning different things. Let's buy. For those of you that are just listening, I had bought a Wolverine. It's a Razer controller, a Razer Xbox controller. It's called the Wolverine Ultimate if you want to see what it looks like. It has 2 extra buttons on the top here. They're 2 like in between the bumpers. And then it has 4 on the back that instead of on the handles, keep in mind it's dirty because of all, sweaty gameplay. Your finger kind of sits nicely right here if you grip the way that I do. Again, if you're listening, I'm sorry. But I was trying for a year to get better at controller, and I feel like I hit a peak recently. Especially on Apex. There were certain things that I wanted to do that I couldn't get my brain to grasp. There were like, I rerouted the 4 buttons on the back of the controller to my like X, A, B, and Y. So like you can, you never have to take your right finger off the joystick. That's the whole point, is to like minimize the finger release from the joystick. And I started having strokes. I mean, I literally couldn't even do like multiple moves at once because I couldn't do it. There was just too much. So then I switch over to mouse and keys, and within like 2 days, I'm able to do all the things that I want to do in terms of like movement, like actual character movement, and then the how do you say this? Like the keyboard movement being the WASD,
Yeah.
but then the actual like camera looking with the mouse, like everything that I needed to be able to do, the snaps, the quick movements to get out of certain situations, I can do on mouse and keys, and I think I'm gonna stick to it for a cool while.
Wow.
I think I'm probably gonna like completely move over, especially because I already put like $200 into new equipment. Because I realized that a wireless mouse would do me better. I bought a much bigger mouse pad that covers my whole desk now,
Ooh,
and then
nice.
a smaller keyboard. So like now I have the full setup, and it is very nice.
Nice.
It's very, very nice. Sorry for the whole like rundown on that, but I think that kind of like covers the reason for switching. It's not like there's arguments on both sides, aim assist is too strong, aim assist isn't strong enough, mouse and keyboard has way more control, which like no matter what side of the argument you're on, everybody's right and everybody's wrong. But just for me personally, I think mouse and keys works better. If that answers that.
Nice. No, it definitely does. Are you, aside from shooters, do you prefer to just play games casually on mouse and keys or controller?
If it was just casual, like any campaign, I'd much rather do it on a controller. It's just the competitive part, which is actually a good question, because like Elden Ring, right?
Yeah.
Much easier on controller, much easier. Some people do it on mouse and keys. It is doable, but it's just smoother on a controller. Like any type of campaign game. If it was Halo, if it was what was it, Star Wars? What was the most recent one with the famous actor that they used? Fallen Order. Is it Fallen Order?
Yeah, that's the most recent Star Wars story game.
So that's like a really good controller game. So if it's casual, controller all day, just because I've done it for 20 years,
Yeah.
I started on like Nintendo and Sega and stuff like that. Then getting my very first Xbox and playing Gears of War on that, which when Gears of War 6 comes out, I'll probably pick up a controller again. But for like Apex and Fortnite, mouse and keys it's the move.
Okay.
For me.
Nice. I don't know. I feel I'm I'm more fond of controllers myself. I only ever use mouse and keys on those, I guess, those survival type games.
Yeah.
Like the Minecrafts, the 7 Days to Die type things. And
Yeah.
I played 7 Days originally back on my PlayStation with a controller, and it's just not as... I don't like the inventory management with a stick compared to the mouse.
Yeah, like when you have, I think that's the argument everywhere is how does the game play with mouse and keys versus controller in terms of like not just the movement, but inventory management's a huge one. How you can access the menu, like in Apex, we'll use that for example. You can, so say you have a death box, which for those of you that don't know what that is, when somebody dies completely and they leave the game, a box will drop with all of their equipment. When you go up to it on a controller, you hold down X or whatever you have it bound to, and then you take your right joystick and you have to glide over to where the inventory is and scan through it, or right stick, left stick, I already forget. You can use your D-pad, you can select things, all of that, but you can't move while you're looking through the box on mouse and keys because everything is bound to your mouse. You access it with E, but then you're selecting everything with your mouse, so you can use your WASD, so as you're searching through, you can keep your character moving.
Oh.
That completely changes everything.
It does.
I mean, like, because, you know, if you're searching through a box, somebody can shoot you if you're standing still. But if you're moving left and right, you know, you can Neo your way through some bullet dodges. So that's a huge point of contention when it comes to inventory. Is that a reason to switch? No, not at all. But you know, then you have, again, using Apex, the gameplay of, I think it's like the top 90% or top 80% or something like that of Apex players are all control players. Or controller, sorry. They're all on a roller. Like they're just nuts, because close fights on a controller are much easier than they are on mouse and keys. So I think it just depends on what game you're playing, and on top of that, what your preference is. Because I can sit here all day and tell you, like, I do better on mouse and keys. That doesn't mean you're going to do better on mouse and keys. I think it's just per person.
I think, honestly, a good example of mouse and keys versus controller I had recently, I did a 1v1 with Sir Wiggles, who's in the chat today, in Halo.
Yeah.
In Reach. He was on keyboard, I was on controller, and I dominated that match, I think. What was it? Like a 10-point lead on that, if not more?
Yeah. So that's the other thing, right? So Gears of War comes out on an Xbox. So does Halo, right? Those are both controller-based games to begin with. That is that will probably be an argument for years to come, is depending on how the game first functioned, and where either people learned or how the compatibility works when they switch it over to, you know, PC, so people on mouse and keys can play. But I'll play mouse and keys for Apex and Fortnite, but if I get on Halo, I'm more than likely going to grab a controller. So you can always switch back. I think that's the other thing too that's really nice, is being able to switch back and
like
forth.
Being like ambidextrous with mouse and keys and controller, I think is a great way to put it.
Versatility is very nice, to be able to just be like, okay, today this isn't working, let's try the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. I just gotta learn shooters with keyboard. I think I need to just like do it once to figure out how I feel fully about it.
I think it's worth. I wouldn't hop into a game like I did with Warzone, because it defeated me so badly that I would touch my mouse and keys for other games and be like, oh, I'm dog shit at this.
Triggered.
But it wasn't that. It's just, it's a hard game to learn on.
Yeah.
Whereas Fortnite's especially the no build Fortnite. Let me bring that part up, because like no build Fortnite is simplified. So you're literally just picking up the guns that are on the ground and shooting people and running. That's it. It's a battle royale. It's a BR. But if you go hop into Warzone, that's like crouch sliding, jumping, looking around, spam crouching, like laying on the drop shotting, like you're doing everything. It's not an easy game to pick that up on. It's easier to go play like multiplayer or another game to learn mouse and keys first to get your hands comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's just the biggest thing.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add about this before we move on to topic 2? Because this topic compared to topic 2 is a much smaller one.
Yeah, we can. I'm pretty. That's pretty
Yeah.
much it. It was just more so the Switch itself.
Yeah.
Was the biggest thing that happened for me like in the past week.
Yeah, it's big. How did you feel? Like, was it a bit liberating, or how would you describe the Switch?
Relieving.
Relieving. Okay.
Because I was able to do things where I was like, why can't I do this on a controller? Is it me? And then I pick up mouse and keys and I was like, oh no, it's definitely like me, but my limits on controller. It was just like, how do I say this? Like, it was me, but not in a negative connotation because it was me on a controller, whereas like me on mouse and keys can do this. So it was a form of relief due to the, like, am I ever going to be able to improve? And got my answer, which is yes.
All right. Okay, then. I think with that, we'll move over into topic 2, which is kind of a follow-up to a topic we had last time, but it's always nice to check back in on a lot of these games that you play a lot of. And starting off with the dreaded Call of Duty Warzone. So how's the game? How's it going with it? Did you play it on April 1st? Did you play it on April 1st? Because they did essentially made everything chaotic on April 1st.
I uninstalled Warzone.
Oh.
A couple weeks, maybe a month or two. 2 months, I believe, was the max into its newest like map release with Caldera, and I gave up.
Wow.
I refuse to play that game anymore. It's
You're done.
It's honestly like, it is, when I say this, I truly do mean this. It is like the biggest piece of shit out right now. And I'm not saying that because I'm upset because I'm losing. I'm saying it because they don't care. They quite literally had devs tweeting, there are so many things in the game that we don't know where to start anymore. Because they just layered and layered, and they just kept stacking shit on more shit on more shit. And I mean that not only figuratively, but I mean literally, that they just like shit updates and shit skins. And I mean, it ranges anything from like a skin on a gun that literally used to turn into a transformer on your screen where you couldn't see, or it would sometimes blind you, and it would look like a permanent flashbang where it was just a white screen. That's not a joke. That's how bad their game got. And then not only that, but you have like the player interaction where it's just cheating. It's nonstop cheating. Oh, we're gonna add an anti-cheat that works 12% of the time.
That's not a good anti-cheat.
No, it's not. So I mean, I've talked about this time and time again. I won't completely go down that rabbit hole, but it's just not in a good state. They even said it's not in a good state. So there's a lot of news on it in terms of, because I see with the questions there, which again, love the fact that I can just like look over and kind of like see what's up, just in case like I ramble too long. They apologized for the state of their game.
Oh, wow.
With the Microsoft and Blizzard
acquisition.
Thank you. There you go. I was going to say interaction, but acquisition's better. With that happening, they also stated that they're going to completely revamp Warzone and make it a new experience that's never happened before, and that they're going to not release a Call of Duty every single year, that they're going to take time on it. Will it be broken promises?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Probably.
It could be, but I
could
mean,
be.
with the purchase, you never know. Like if the company was the exact same company and no one got fired and nothing changed, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But that's such a big change that it might be something good. So who knows? But they pretty much, when they said that, everyone kind of took that as, oh, so you're giving up on the game that's out now, which means nothing's going to
gonna
improve.
happen. It's
No.
gonna stay
So,
it's gonna stay its broken pile of like what? It's basically just a garbage place.
yeah, it's garbage heap. So it's a dumpster fire, and the people that are playing it they just kind of like accepted it and just agreed with it and moved on. So I get it. I just refuse to play a game where I literally have clips on clips on clips of people with a sniper just not moving from the center of my forehead. Like, they're just not, because it just locks on with all their hacks. Yeah, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it really is. So then we go into the game that you've kind of fallen in love with recently, Apex.
Mm-hmm. Which is fantastic. Go ahead.
How is it? Just how is it? How is it going? What's new has anything new happened to Apex since we last spoke?
Quite a bit. They had new seasons released, because when was the last time that we talked? Like
fall or winter of last year.
So they had at least, I know they had season 12 release, maybe season 11 as well, or it might have been in the middle of season 11. So pretty much season 12 came out, lots of problems, lots of breaks, as expected at this point. I mean, there's such big updates, and they're changing their game, and they're adding in new things. Things aren't always going to go smoothly, but as you continue to play a game, you start to see all the things that are wrong with it, like the sound cue is not working, like somebody can just literally walk up behind you and you have no idea. And aside from like the bad parts, honestly, I'm still playing it. It's not as broken as
the
other
good
games like Warzone.
There's more good than bad.
Absolutely, there is, and there's a lot of room for improvement. For the most part, they do fix the things that are like majorly broken. I think sound cues are always going to be an issue. Like, there's no sound on this person is something that you hear on every single game. It's like you kind of just roll with the punches at that point.
Yeah.
But they released Mad Maggie, who is a new character in the game, and everybody thought she was going to be broken, and she ended up being like a perfect fit. She wasn't overpowered by any means. She just kind of blended right in, which was new. And keep in mind,
releasing a non-broken character on release. Who'd have thought?
Yeah. Like, people can have their complaints, but overall, like, when Seer was released, who is a scan character, he was broken. They literally fixed him within 3 weeks. He was so broken that if you didn't have him on your team of 3, you probably weren't going to win that game.
Wow.
Every single team had a Seer because he was just extremely overpowered, and it was ridiculous playing against him.
That's crazy.
But they fixed it within 3 weeks. Whereas, like, Halo hasn't had an update in 6 months. They released a cookbook.
They released they released the cat ears and dipped.
Dude. And so as far as Apex, yes, it definitely has its problems. Everybody's going to bitch and complain, but if you really take a step back and look at it, it's not that bad. And the cheating, we got cheated on yesterday playing, which and that isn't one of those things where it's like, oh, he's maybe cheating, when you're watching somebody follow somebody through walls. Because you can spectate your killer. Like, I'm hiding in an area where there was no reason for them to look there. It's like a 1 in a, I don't know, 100,000, 1 in a million chance that anybody would be where I was. They didn't have a scan character because we went over all the like possibilities of them looking. But the guy just peeks perfectly, destroys me. I mean, I got melted within like a second. And then we spectate him, and we're like, maybe he might have walls. And then we literally watched him track a dude, and we're like, there's no reason you should know he's there, none at all. So I don't know. It's like that's few and far between that you come across like real hackers. But the hacking issue is something that I think we're going to be Did we talk about that a little bit later?
Yeah, how is
No.
Apex's like? Do they have an anti-cheat in? Do they?
They do.
They do.
They do.
Is it good?
It does.
Does it work?
I mean,
Better
in
than
comparison
Warzone's?
to other games, there are definitely stronger ones, but there are definitely weaker ones. So it's just one of those things that's like, I don't think there's ever going to be a way to get past cheating.
Yeah.
I just don't think so. People will they'll find a way, dude. I mean, there are people that literally can hack into like the government. Like, didn't the Pentagon or something get hacked?
I mean,
and
when
like,
does the Pentagon not get hacked?
but that's what I'm saying is like that's supposed to be like a government. Like people will find a way. They will.
Yeah.
There's people that are just miserable human beings that want to ruin good things for good people. So overall, it's not terrible. But for Apex, there's a thing called Predator. Predator is the highest ranking in Apex, the top 750 people in the world. I mean, like literally,
Wow.
there's 750 slots. A large percentage of those, I don't know how big the percentage is, but those are cheaters because they just worked their way up. Like the guy that I was playing against was just, you could tell he was on his way up to go hit Pred because he's just got wall hacks and he's following people through walls. So I don't know. It's one of those things that like you kind of just accept it and roll with it until either a bigger punishment than deleting your account gets put out or what. But
Yeah. We need to.
not much you can do.
I feel like I don't know. Video games could unite and make like a. I don't know what's a super anti-cheat system to just work with everything. And
Yeah, but the thing that happened with Warzone was that apparently, this isn't me. This is what I read and heard and listened to and all that. When they put out their anti-cheat or their map or something, someone accidentally leaked the source code. And when you leak the source code,
how do you accidentally leak a source
code?
code?
How do you accidentally leak anything? How do you get hacked on? How do you get, how do you become somebody differently named because they found your social? Like somebody accidentally leaked the source code, and when you leak the core of it, everything can be worked around because no matter what they change, the source code will always be the same. So it's a backdoor. They really did fuck their entire game because they released the backdoor, which sounds dirty, but like they opened it and it's just and then they were just getting slammed.
that doesn't help. That survey does not help either.
But it's one of those things, dude, that like you're not gonna fix it. You're just not. You have Dr. Disrespect having a game being worked on. I don't know if you've paid any attention to the Midnight Society.
I have. Oh man, I have some hot takes on Dr. Disrespect right now.
Do you?
What one? Man, I mean, Dr. Disrespect Dr. No Respect for me. That's for sure.
That's literally his name is Disrespect.
I have no respect for Dr. Disrespect right now. The game, okay. The NFTs, no. The music career that he's also trying to go for, no.
What? Okay.
Oh yeah, he's working on an album too.
I know, and his music's really good. I disagree so much.
Really?
Dude. It is so good. Like every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh, this is because I think just on the music career part, right? I think what people misunderstand is there's a band called Attila. Attila is a heavy metal band.
Okay.
And their front man his name is Franz.
Okay.
I used to hate them because they ruined metal music, right? It was all like sex, drugs. It was literally rap music, but like the bad rap bad. Okay, putting in quotes.
The like bad as like the white person rap. Like
no.
Like
when I'm saying this, I mean like the whole like the only point of me making this music is to show you that I am
to show you that I get laid.
I got money, I got designer, I get pussy, like I get cars, I got everything.
Jake Paul got it.
Kind of. He took that and he introduced it into metal, and I hated it. And then I realized later on that what he would do with his producer is that they would just go into the studio, hang out because they were friends. They would get drunk. They would write the heaviest possible riff that they could. And then he would go into the booth and he would do whatever vocals he wanted to do and say the most outlandish shit because he just sex sells. Like, he knew what would sell. The dude ended up making millions of dollars off of revamping his entire band and his whole his brand.
Wow.
So with Dr. Disrespect, I mean, he literally has a song called Gillette, and
Yeah,
that's all he says.
Yeah, that's I've seen it.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like there's no meaning behind it. He just made it's a catchy song that kind of like makes you bob your head a little bit, and it's just like it's nothingness, but it's fun. It's for the people who actually care. So I understand. I understand. Just as he would understand, because outside of his costume, I don't know if you know the guy. He's like a really normal dude.
I mean, yeah, I've seen. But didn't he cheat on his wife or something like that back in the day?
Yeah, but I mean, like that doesn't really apply to much of the conversation because like when it comes down to his personal life, I mean, end of the day, people do shitty things.
True.
It just is what it is. You can't really yeah,
he's done shit.
Go on
He's done shit.
He's done shit. Everybody's done shit, and you know they go to make up for it, and they try to fix it. But just talking on like the music alone and like him as a person and what he's trying to do for the music, right? Is whether you like it or not, it's catchy or can be, depending on subjective.
Yeah.
But he made that music so that not only is it something to listen to, but it's something you can listen to on your stream. It is meant so that you can have DMCA free music. And he released it for everybody to listen to. He is working on this game that he's trying to do something new that has a very tight-knit circle of 10,000 people to start, so that the community can actually be listened to and work on a game and improve it together, to find the workarounds. And they're actually looking into the gamers, the streamers, the content creators, and those being all separate, not all together, right? You have like the casuals, the hardcore people. You have the actual developers all working together. And once it starts getting going, they're still selecting the 10,000 to make sure that this game is for the gamers by the gamers type beat. And then the token part. I'm not the biggest fan of any of that stuff.
Yeah.
However, what bad does it do? I honestly I want to know the arguments of like what's the bad.
I know that there's like I don't know what the exact, because I've only heard all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care for NFTs myself. I don't know. It's bad for the environment, but I don't know what exactly it does bad to the environment. I don't know the specifics, and I wish I did.
So from my understanding, and this is, you can read into everybody, depending on what you hear, depending on what side you're sitting on, right? Like if you're, I'm typically like a middle fence person until like proven to be on one side or the other. I have my opinions, but I don't let it completely steer the conversation.
Yes. I mean, I work in
comes
radio politics. I have to be neutral a lot of the time.
Right. So you have people that are like, why would you make something that's bad for the environment? Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's, it's detrimental to this and that. You know how much damage emails do to the environment? Tokens do less than that.
Oh, damn.
Emails don't even do that much. Dude, it's such a minimal thing. But, like, people are trying to find any small way to hate on something, and they're just like, you're making a select community and you're isolating people out, and it's like there's a point for that.
I know. Honestly, the select community kind of actually makes sense because it's basically your QA testers, and you're actually
that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. He's actually doing a lot of things that most video game companies probably don't do that well, which is treat their QA testers with respect.
And the founders thing, the token is just a matter of like Remember when you used to buy Xbox? You have a day one Xbox.
Yeah.
That's just a physical token.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing really, it's just a collectible. That's all it is, because the thing that the token that he's giving out is free. It's literally just this rotating fucking thing. I have one. I got one because I signed up and I just got it the other day. It's just sitting in a digital wallet, which I don't even fucking understand it. I just have it because I want to sign up for his game. Like, and I want to make that clear for anybody listening. I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about in terms of like what it does. I just know when it comes down to like the damage argument and everything, I've read as much as I possibly could consume before people made me sick.
Yeah.
But like, it's just this thing that just rotates in a fucking folder on an online profile, but because it's got all this bad shit attached to it. NFTs are different.
Yeah.
NFTs and the scams that go behind NFTs, there are some legit NFTs, actual NFTs that they're good. But 90% of them gave it a bad name because they're just scams.
Scams.
I mean,
to
I have
get your
friends that
crypto.
lost. Yeah, I have friends that lost, 2 Bitcoin, a Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's worth shit tons of money right now. So like that's a lot of money to lose out on for a scam. So I get it. I understand the
And
bad side
I don't
of
know
it.
how true this is about Bitcoin, but so there's a commercial that plays on my radio station now because like this crypto business pays for spots and whatnot. There's according to there's like only like 1,000 or 2,000 Bitcoins left to be mined.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. But I don't know, man. I don't know. There's everybody's got different takes on different things. I'm not here to fucking convince anybody. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks as long as it's not some detrimental thought that's like, yeah, dude, we should kill that person. Like, when it's like, okay, you need to relax. Like, that's not. But that's the crazy part of the internet. But you dislike him. That's totally fine. I just I think to have a different point of view on things, I think it's nice to have multiple points of views, right? Like I remember when I was younger, when I was like 18 to 21, 22, and I remember thinking like, if you cheat on somebody, you're fucking, even though I have no connection to you whatsoever, you're dead to me. Because that matters, right? My opinion matters. And then as I got older, I'm just
for
like,
that is like, I mean, I'll be like, ooh, that's a hot take, bruv, of like the cheating of like, if you would cheat, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know why you would do that. Like, I maybe lost a little bit of respect for like that person who cheated, but
yeah, absolutely.
That's probably
but,
about
I mean,
it because I don't know them personally.
I think the number one thing as I got older that I realized, and it was a lot of like trial and error, was that at what point do people make bad decisions? Again, like cheating isn't like yes, it is bad. It's 100% bad. I'm not saying that it's good, but like, at what point do you stop ridiculing somebody and let them try and make up for stuff?
Yeah.
Murder is not in the question. The murder is not like, I'm not talking about like some, dude that's just going on a killing spree and then he's like, please forgive me. And it's like, no, you should probably not be around us. But like at the same point, if somebody tried to hurt your family, then like, I know this is completely off topic for a gaming podcast. I'm using this as examples, as like there are variations of wrongdoings that I think people can sometimes make up for or not, and someone that is in a gaming community, and one of the things that gets brought up is something that they did in the past that they've already moved past, their friends have moved past, their families moved past, the person that they hurt moved past. Why hasn't everyone else? And that is my biggest point. But everything else, when it comes down to like the token and the game itself and all that, I totally understand the hesitation on it. I get it 100%, because it's new.
Yeah.
It's new. It's scary.
It's very scary.
It's scary. My bad, everybody listening. I know you probably already fucking tuned out on that conversation, but
no, but
it's a
good point to bring up, honestly.
I think it's just a matter of giving things chances and not, like everyone's like, fuck Elon Musk, or I love Elon Musk. It's like, why don't you just wait to see what happens?
Yeah.
Like,
let's let this play out. I'm definitely paying attention to the whole Twitter thing now with Elon Musk.
Yeah. I want to see. I want to see
where this goes. I want to see what's going to happen.
Let's steer it back to
yeah. Let's steer it back
to
video games. Moving on to the third one, Fortnite, because I know you've been playing Fortnite a little bit. It's not on. It's not in there because I forgot to put it in there. But you've been playing Fortnite a bit.
Fortnite is good. They did a really good job with the no build mode.
Yeah,
it's very well done.
I think the joke is it's now just a regular battle royale again.
Yeah, it went back to like its original form, which was, I believe, was no building before they.
I believe there was
introduced that.
building, but like back in like season 1, it wasn't like optimized to where it is now.
Yeah, I think when it first came out, though, like I mean, like either season 0 or beta or something, there was no building in it. Building was actually introduced, I think, like very early on, but a little bit later from its release, I think. And so it was just fly off a bus, hit the ground, pick stuff up, run through, kill people, right? In game.
Yeah.
And so,
specifically in game. No, they didn't just it's in game. No actual murders have taken place.
Yes. So they added in a sprinting mechanic so that you have a limited sprint that you can see at the bottom left of your screen. They added in a jumping mechanic, so as you're sprinting, you can actually like do this like wild jump where you're like swinging forward. You can latch onto ledges. They have zips, so like it moves not as quickly as maybe other games do, but it moves smoothly. And what I keep saying and I've been saying since it came out is that they removed half of their game and gained like 2 or 3 times the amount of players.
It's crazy to think that as well.
Yeah.
Like it's so crazy. Like Fortnite was known for building, and that's why it was like such a like.
And they still have it.
They've now made like the no build its own mode in there. Correct.
It's a permanent mode, so you can do either of them: solo, duo, trio, or squad.
Wow.
And you can do no builds and builds, but no build has way more attention. I mean, I couldn't play the game before with building because I just couldn't keep up with the kids that could build a 1x1 tower, and that's the joke that everybody uses. But like, you really couldn't. Like, you'd shoot them and they were already in a fortress. So with this no build, it's like now you have to win your fights. You can't just escape in your big old fortress. And they're doing a lot more tournaments with it too, and it's bringing insane amounts of numbers back to I have my brothers playing it who said that they would never touch Fortnite in their life. They're like, I brought it up the other day and they're like, no. And I was like, just try it. They tried it, and now one of my brothers is like buying all the battle passes. He's spent like 30 or 40 bucks on the game already. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, dude. They did a really good job with this. So Fortnite's great. Yeah.
It's crazy. I still won't touch it. I mean, battle royales to me, I'm just not a fan of battle royales.
That's different.
They've been oversaturated, and I'm just kind of done with them a little bit. I get that they're gonna probably stick around for the long haul still, especially with how they're gonna reinvent things with that. But yeah, I just can't get into them.
They'll be around for a while.
Next one. I want to know if anything's changed. Knockout City. Man, what happened? Just going back to that in the last time we talked about it. What happened?
The most recent update that I saw was that Knockout City has broken their contract with EA and is going to take their game back and revamp it, re-release it, whatever you want to call it, through their own means.
Oh.
Because they feel like EA is the reason that it tanked.
Yeah.
Now, is that true? Have no idea. What will happen? Have no idea. We just kind of have to like sit around and wait, and see what happens. But pretty much, really good idea, executed beautifully. Everything after was not. The ranking system was okay. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't great. It was super fucking easy to just climb your way to the top. I think I was the second highest rank, and we were just flying through that. And it was like one of the very first games I ever picked up, and I was a monster at. I was like, oh, this could be good for tournaments. And I was talking to friends about it. I was sending all sorts of different stuff. And I think they ran 1 or 2 big tournaments, and then done.
Yeah.
So
it just disappeared. As we mentioned last time we brought it up, it just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth almost.
absolutely, I think it was just one of those things that like it was really exciting with no promise afterwards. Same thing with Halo. It was really exciting with no promise afterwards, and we're watching Halo literally. As much as people don't,
there's a big difference though. We're watching Halo on the downfall. We didn't see what was coming next for Knockout City. It was just
the only reason that we're able to watch Halo on the downfall is because Halo is such a big point of conversation. Whereas Knockout City is a brand new game that no one really cared about. Like, yeah, there were, probably 80% of the biggest content creators in the world gave it a try, and then maybe gave it a second try and didn't talk about it afterwards. Whereas like Halo's been around since we were all kids. So
yeah, very true.
It's different.
Very true about that. Well, hopefully with them going breaking out of EA, hopefully we can see something cool come out of it.
Hopefully,
it'd be nice because the game has a lot of promise.
It does. They did a really good job with it. I think it's a lot of fun. I actually talked to friends about it quite a bit at random times, but yeah, I don't know. We'll just see what happens when they I guess re-release it, if they do.
Next game we have here, Elden Ring.
It's fantastic.
I have yet to play it. I gave the Souls series a chance for the first time finally with Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Man.
How was Bloodborne for you?
Okay, so honestly, here's what I'm going to say. I liked Bloodborne. You know what? It's not a bad game in any means. I don't think the Souls series is bad in any sort of way. I'm just not very patient when it comes to dying in the same place over and over again. And I could tell my patience was wearing thin on it. I got to the first boss. I failed. I lost to him. And then I couldn't get back to him.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my breaking point. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put the game down before I hurt myself.
Yeah.
Or my controller, because it's my baby. And I'm just, I can't do it. I respect those who can. I just don't have the mental patience for them.
I think it's one of those things that, like, it's a game I wouldn't play if I didn't stream. I'm playing it mostly because I'm not doing it because of stream, but because I have, like, the company, and it's more so, like, just kind of chatting with everybody, and they obviously like seeing, someone fail over and over and over.
Haha, but if I was just man died. Haha.
Exactly. And like that's fun. It makes for good content. I have a good time talking shit with everybody. But the game itself is a lot of patience, and if you play stuff like that on your own, you are definitely a different type of human being. But as for Elden Ring, that's my first Souls game. It's awesome. It's great. It's very forgiving. Having your horse goat.
Yeah, I've definitely heard a lot of I definitely heard it's like the most forgiving Souls type game.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I think they wanted to make it more of an introduction type game for people that have never played their games before, and I think they executed it perfectly. I think as far as like the breaks in the game are not bad. I think the way that the content was being produced from other people without even Elden Ring, like they weren't paying for it. It just like their game was so good and so entertaining to see people fail that there was free advertising from everybody about it. So I have put 40, almost 50 hours into it and haven't even hit the halfway point.
Wow.
And I'm going to be completely honest, the more I think about it, and especially, again, switching to mouse and keys and playing Apex and learning all that, I don't know when I'm going back to it, but it's a good game. It's a fun game.
Do you think it's going to take Game of the Year? Because that's what a lot of people are predicting, especially now with Zelda being moved to next year.
When did Arceus come out?
Arceus came out this year too. Here's the only thing with that. I don't think Arceus can take Game of the Year. I don't think
so either, but I think it's a good contender. I think Elden Ring might win. I think that is a possibility, depending on, obviously we're only 4.5 months through the year.
Yes.
I don't know if there's really anything that's coming out that's like super major. But off the top of my head, I don't think there's really
No,
anything else
there's
that could
like
really compete with it.
unless the Saints Row remake reboot does some incredible game changing things, I don't think anything can
Yeah.
top it.
No, I think Elden Ring has a really good chance, if not a locked-in chance for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I like I said, it's great. I think it's a good game. It's definitely infuriating, but I think that's the whole point of
That
it
definitely
is to
is,
just
yeah.
really challenge you as a gamer.
Moving on to I guess the last game you threw to me, Horizon Forbidden West.
One of the best looking games, if not the best looking games I've ever turned on in my entire life. I mean, dude, the PS5. Whoo! It's insane. Like, I don't even know how to explain how good this game looks. Like, if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, just go look up a few clips. Go look up some gameplay of it. It is so, like, I played.
Zero Dawn.
Yeah, I played Zero Dawn, but I'm trying to think of how long I played Forbidden West, because like I'm going back to that for sure. Like that's on my radar. Again, I'm just addicted to the competition part. I'm not in that story driven mode right now. I was for a bit, because I was playing Apex, was losing my mind on that. Then Lost Ark came out, and I gave that like a good 2 weeks. And the only reason I stopped playing Lost Ark was because Horizon Forbidden West came out. I literally bought a PS5 for that game.
Wow.
Granted, there are other games that I will be playing in the future. So,
Yeah.
in terms of when I did it was because of Horizon Forbidden West, but overall did it for all the games that I want to play on it. And then like a week after Horizon Forbidden West came out, Elden Ring comes out, and that kind of steered me off from it. But dude, the story perfectly continues off of the first one. It feeds into the first one and does a branch of its own new story incredibly well, to the point where like I was like a little kid, like jumping in my chair. I was like, dude, that is such a sick idea. Like the only thing the more I play games, the only thing I don't really like in it is the sequences. The fighting sequences are not smooth. It's kind of like you can swing like this at in front of you, and if there's an enemy on your right, it will take you off to the side. That's just the extreme aim assist. But I don't know. I think other than that, it's awesome, dude. I love that game. I can't wait to go back to it. I just not locked into that right now.
Yeah. Speaking of like getting a PS5 for a certain game, I think this year might be a good reason, because I just remembered, if I'm remembering correctly, the Wolverine game comes out this year.
That's right. They
From
only put out like
Insomniac.
one trailer.
We've only had the one trailer
Right?
for it. Yeah, it was at E3 or Summer Games Fest last year that they teased.
I never
it
know
off.
if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The one trailer and then a release.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was for this year. So
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can look it up, but that and then the Harry Potter game
Oh
coming
yeah,
out.
yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, and
So
and then
it's still hard
next
to
year,
find one
and
for
next
sure.
year is Spider-Man 2.
It's a perfect time to get one.
It really is, especially Kingdom Hearts now, because I feel like Kingdom Hearts 4 might be a PS5 next gen exclusive, especially with
okay.
it being on Unreal 5. It's definitely I'm definitely going to be starting to look at upgrading soon.
I would recommend it, dude. I have my roommate has a PS4 and it's good, but like the PS5 that is something different. I didn't even know graphics could look like that on a gaming console. It's fucking what's it called? The drawback? Is that what it is? How far something can
the render distance?
I guess render distance, yeah. So the render distance mixed in with the detail on everything as you're moving. Like
Draw distance.
It does
Thank you, Scott.
Draw distance there. Thank you. So just everything it's buttery smooth. It just flows, dude, and it doesn't hiccup at all. That was the craziest part, was because like I don't have like, top tier gaming system, but I definitely have like a really good PCU. I have a great GP or not PCU. Is it a PCU? Power supply unit is PSU. You have GPU. Oh my god. The graphics card mixed in with the CPU. Thank you. Called it a PCU. Dude. Okay, so you have your power supply unit. That's PSU. Got it. And then the CPU. Thank you. So the CPU and the GPU that I have are great, but they do hiccup on some things. The PS5 does not miss a beat.
Ooh.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Whole ass rig versus like a unit, and the unit just kills, dude. Oh, I don't know. I love it. I'm so glad I bought it. It was definitely worth the $600 that I spent for it.
But... You think that's bad? Us Canadians have to pay like $800-900 for that shit.
I have a good source of being able to find them, not quickly, but at a decent price. So it's somebody that I know. But so I got lucky with it. But still, even just spending $600 on that and then $70 on the game, I spent nearly $700 to play a game for 20 hours, which I will go back to. But it's just that thinking about, like, I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, I haven't turned you on in months. But yeah, it's definitely worth the buy for sure.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add before we move on to the bonus level?
No.
Okay. In that case, we will move on to the bonus level. And chat, this is where you guys finally get to do some major contributions as we get to do our very first live community corner. So any questions you have for myself or Nick about anything we've talked about, anything video game related, you are able to drop in now, and we will be taking them for a little bit. So feel free to get them in. I'm excited to see what happens, what we get, because I can only assume we will get hopefully some good questions, some wacky, some, who knows.
Speculation on the new Nintendo Remake game.
Oh, which one?
What's that? Yeah, I was going to say which one.
I mean, Nintendo remakes a lot of things. I'm excited. Definitely gonna be a 10 out of 10 game there.
What?
Wait, Star Fox. Ooh, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Star Fox getting remade. There's a good chance we might see Star Fox 64 get moved. Oh, from the game. Oh, Star Fox Adventure? Oh.
Dude, that game was so good.
I have Adventure and I have Assault. It could be either of the two. I feel like it might be Adventure. Oh, no, it might be Assault that they do. Either or.
That was another set of games like Star Fox and everything that had such good potential. I just don't think gaming was at that point yet. I don't think people were taking it that seriously at the point. Mm-hmm. But like that, thinking about that series, just of Star Fox in general, was so good back then. I don't know where it's at now, but it makes me sad.
Where is it? It released Star Fox Zero on the Wii U, and I think that's the last we've heard of it for a little bit. I feel like insane. If we do hear anything about Star Fox again, it's because Star Fox 64 will get put on the N64 emulator that the Switch has. And I feel like that might be the closest thing to possible Star Fox rumors that I've heard, or that might possibly happen, that are realistic as well.
Yeah.
Because they just put on Mario Golf on that as well. They just put the original Mario Golf on there.
Which, that was fun. I always go back and forth between, like, when do we let a game stay where it was versus when do we, like, give it a second life?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at least 20, like for a lot of the older stuff that's like 20 years old, I feel like, yeah, if it hasn't had like anything, or like the last thing it put out was like god awful, sure, I'm fine with them like, rebooting, re-putting it out or whatever.
Yeah.
To relive it. But I feel like some of them should just be like, not messed with and just part of a piece of history.
Right. It's always a toss up, and then you find out when they do it if it was good or bad.
Yeah.
What's the week in gaming history in case we wait for anybody else to like throw in some questions in there?
It's when we recap just what happened in the past.
Okay.
Like,
right. Yeah.
It's been a while,
I remember
but
yeah. I saw that for a second and I completely forgot. But
if you people have more questions there, I think we'll come back to questions as you guys think of some to ask us. Feel free to pop them in the chat at all. We do have some other things that we can take care of while we are waiting for questions. Starting with top 5. Top 5 video game sound effects.
Ooh, I have one that I hate now.
Ooh.
Well, I don't hate it, but I became. There's an old study, I believe, that a scientist did or something, where it was like you ring a bell, you give a dog a treat. You ring a bell, you give a dog a treat. You ring a bell.
What is
I bring this up all the time.
Isn't it Pavlov's dog or something like that?
There you go. Yes. So I am the dog, and chat is Pavlov with the "Hey, listen" noise from the original Zelda.
Navi.
Because I have Navi say that, and it was originally meant for the mods to get my attention if something was wrong. And when people use it, I snap over. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like, like the dog drooling, I just, and I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, hi. And I'm like, no, stop doing that because I'm going to lose my mind. And then I realized, like, oh, I did this. Like, this is my fault. So definitely top 5 best and top 5
worst.
Most hated now from me.
Great. Yeah. Oh, my God. I think I'm always going to be a fond. I love the Kirby dance jingle whenever you beat a Kirby
one.
stage. That's one of my favorites of all time. It's just so wholesome and cute.
Headshotting a grunt on Halo.
Birthday party.
One of the Easter birthday party was good.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
When I replayed the Halos earlier this year, I made sure to turn on birthday party if it was available. That's a good one
for sure.
I cannot play a Halo game without that because it's just so good.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. What's another really good one? I guess like anything from Super Smash Brothers, like their move sets, where it's just like there's so many like key noises in there that just throw me back to being a kid playing on Nintendo 64. GameCube.
Oh, the GameCube
intro.
startup. Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, that's so good.
It's so good.
There's a lot of really good noises.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It's so interesting to like think of that actually.
Yeah. I can't think of any more off the top of my head.
No, we got 5 at least in there, so that's good.
Yeah.
We do got another question from Mist. Why do you torment yourself with Apex Ranked?
I don't know. Because it feeds my competitive urge perfectly. The again with the battle royale, the reason why they're so popular and the reason why they do so well is because the risk versus the reward, they're both very high. And although you can get that in like pubs, which is just unranked regular, like it didn't really matter to get wins in Warzone. It was just rewarding. It felt good. It didn't really matter to get. It still doesn't matter to get wins in Fortnite. You get tokens or coins or whatever the hell you get for winning, an experience. But in ranked, you have to spend ranked points in order to get into the game. So you start losing in platinum, you have to spend 36 rank points, and then as you get placement and as you get kills, it gets replenished. So the risk is, you're gambling the entire time. It's gamble mixed in with high intense game fights, mixed in with like extreme, like it feeds my competitive urge perfectly. The only thing that would do more than that is like an actual tournament for money, and that is something that I would hope to get into in the future, but I have to get much better first. I have to really grind out this mouse and keys stuff before I even look into that.
Yeah.
But there's the answer to your question.
Again, we'll be taking more questions. Moving on to the next part of the bonus level, we got This Week in Gaming History. So here's what happened in the past from April 18th to 24th that you can celebrate. On the 18th in 2006, Nintendo released Brain Age Train Your Brain in minutes a day for the DS in North America. I played Big Brain Academy. Cool. I never played Brain Age, but I played Big Brain Academy, which was, I think,
I'm not smart enough to play either. You think it's the what?
Possibly.
No, you were saying you think it's the...
I think it's the easier of... Big Brain Academy is easier than Brain Age, by far.
Okay.
April 19th, 2005, Majesco released Psychonauts for the Xbox in North America. Classic platformer there. Got that sequel, what was it, last year? Finally, after all this time. So that's nice. Nice to celebrate.
Never played it, but that's cool.
April 20th, 2008, Nintendo released Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time and Explorers of Darkness for the Nintendo DS in North America. The last time they ever released two Mystery Dungeons like a main release series of Pokemon games.
If I don't ever respond to these, it is purely based off of me not having any idea what the games are, what they even look like. Obviously, I know what Pokemon is, but yeah, that's my only response to those. It's just like, nice, okay, cool.
Nice. April 21st, 2000, Sonic Team was founded in Tokyo, Japan.
Okay, that one's cool. That one gets my attention. God, man.
I think it was
tight.
I didn't realize it was only founded in 2000. I thought it was founded a lot earlier, but no, 2000.
That's really actually, yeah. I would have thought it was like early 1990s or something.
I would have assumed like he was back, at least back during like the Dreamcast stuff, but like the earlier
they
Dreamcast
were making
stuff, but
killer games early into their founding. That's impressive.
Yeah. And now Sonic Frontiers is on the horizon, and we still don't know shit about it.
Sick.
But the Sonic movie. The Sonic movie happened. We're getting a third one. We're getting the Knuckles series on Paramount Plus.
Second or third?
Third. The second one just came out. We are getting a third one. They announced that there will be a third one.
Wow.
And I mean, if you've seen
cool.
the end credit scene for the game, for the movie, you know who the big reveal character is going to be in the next one. Which a lot of people are excited. I'm not going to say who it is. I've seen the end credit scene. I'm excited myself for the third one.
I would assume I know who it is off of the games.
Possibly.
We don't have to say.
Possibly. I'll say that they... I don't want to... It wasn't... The character wasn't introduced in a 2D game. I'll say that much. They were not introduced in any of the 2D Sonic games.
Got it.
April 22nd, 1982. The Quaker Oats Company announced it had acquired the home of video game assets of U.S. Game Corporation.
All right.
So who knew Quaker Oats had a stake in the video games franchise for a little bit?
I didn't. At all.
April 23rd, 1993. Hudson released The Lords of Thunder for the PC Engine in Japan.
That's cool.
And April 24th, 1992. Hudson released Star Parodia for the PC Engine in Japan.
Nice.
Our achievement of the week this week is Nobody Saves the World. It's from Nobody Saves the World. It's called Pony Love, which is to experience true love. And the game of the week, I'm giving it to Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Nice. That's a good one.
It's such a good game.
That is a solid one.
It's a solid game. I don't think we have any more questions. So Nick, thank you for coming on.
We also went for
almost 2 hours. Almost 2 hours. So you know what? We're keeping up the pattern.
Dude, I have to pee so unbelievably bad. Like, it started to hit me. Like we got to the This Week in Gaming History, and I was like, ooh. And then you're like, any more questions? I was like, ooh. No, dude, it's always an absolute
It
blast.
always
And
is.
for those that are still listening, and whenever I say that, I said it on my own podcast. Other people say it. You know, it's a long episode. It's one of those things that depending on the content and what we're talking about and the context of what we're talking about, some people tune out. But if you are still listening, thanks for sitting through all the stuff that wasn't maybe necessarily gaming stuff, but I think that just happens in typical conversation.
It does.
You know, although there is a structure to Tony's kick-ass podcast, there's a nature of talking with people that just ends up happening. So that's the stuff I thoroughly enjoy. I just hope it didn't steer your format too drastically.
No, you didn't. Not at all.
And it's not like I'm sorry I ruined your podcast, because I'm not saying that. It's just one of those things that I know, like, people will be like, ooh, don't want to hear about that. I came here for gaming. And it's like, oh, it's kind of gaming.
It's kind of gaming.
But dude, I always have a blast on this. So thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Where can we find you on the internet?
Ooh, I want to get Nick Ruhle on everything, but I can't. It's Nick Ruhle, NickRuhle on Twitch. Everything else, I believe, has an underscore afterwards. If it doesn't look like my typical same profile picture everywhere, but if you type in Nick Ruhle on Instagram or Twitter, there might be other accounts in there that are inactive and I can't get the name. So, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok for the outer social medias, but mostly Twitch at Nick Ruhle.
Alrighty. And of course, I'm at Radio Tony on Twitter, Tony's Game Lounge on Instagram, twitch.tv/Tony's Game Lounge right here on Twitch. And of course, on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you listen to your podcasts as well, and TikTok as well, Tony's Game Lounge.
That's what we like, Tony. He's
like.
out here. He's grinding away, everybody. You tune the fuck in or else.
Hey, these are gonna. What I'm excited about is, like, we're finally gonna get to see more of this on the Twitch channel now, which is awesome. I'm excited for
It's very good. It gives people the first, if you're listening to the after edited version, just check out his Discord, check out his Twitch when he goes live and does these. You'll see it in the title. I mean, it says first ever live episode of Tony's Game Lounge. But check out for updates on that, because the live stuff is always cool, especially when you can tune in, or if, like, I don't know, you're working and want to listen to the podcast before it's edited. So.
Yeah, you get to hear everything before I remove, like, any breaths or coughs or sneezes. Anything that happens in a live show, all of that stuff gets.
Which, by the way, pat on the back for you for clicking your mic off when you have to cough.
I did.
It's actually impressive.
It's not,
most people will just like turn to the side.
Yeah. I'm
quick
like that, boy.
I'm quick like that, boy. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
I'm fast as fuck. Well, I don't want to have you holding in your bladder too much for this recording, so thank you, everybody, for tuning into this episode. We will be back next week in the Game Lounge with possibly the 4th annual sports episode, where we don't talk about all the video games, but we actually talk about some sports stuff. So I'll see you guys then. Bye.